Shohei Ohtani, do you think he has a chance to win the Cy Young Award based on how many starts he's going to get? Because stuff-wise, if he's looking like this is maybe the best I've ever seen him. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. I think it's going to come down to number of starts he gets, because it's not only about being nasty, it's about how many times you're nasty and how much you've carried for your team. So I view innings pitched as probably the gating thing for him. He's going to need to make all his starts and hopefully go deep in them. But stuff-wise, absolutely. Like, it's best I've seen him.
Let me ask you this. I got Paul Skeens on the other line. He's curious about that comment there. So, battle between neck and neck, man. What do you think? The big, no Wheeler. I mean, there's an opportunity there for both of them to battle down neck and neck. Do you think there's a big opportunity? And it'd be great for baseball to see this happen.
I think this is the year. Interesting. Paul Skeens looked up to Shohei when he was coming up too, so it makes it really cool. Yeah, like Paul Skeens is the best pitcher, in the NL, definitely. Command-wise, innings-wise, but stuff-wise, Shohei's up there with him. I mean, Shohei throws harder, and his stuff is filthy, and they're both incredible competitors. So, yeah, I mean, this might be his year if he's going to attack it, because it looks like a two-horse race. Yamamoto could get in there too, right? So we have a few, but yeah, I would say Shohei's gonna have to make some starts.
Rob, good to see you, man. How you doing? I haven't
good. How are you?
In a long time. Yeah, doing good, man. Doing good. Happy to be here. Well, I want to get into Mason Miller a little bit. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun, but I can sit here and talk Mason Miller all day. I played with him in Oakland. Now Sacramento A is obviously just a good kid all the way around, and such an awesome story. What you're talking about a two-horse race between Shohei and Skeens. What does Mason got to do to get his name in that loot as well?
Dude, I love, talk about the most dominant pitcher on earth. We're talking about the other guys that's nasty, whatever. Nobody wants to hit against Mason Miller. I think he needs those two guys to falter. You need a non-clear starting pitcher as no one can dominate, and then he keeps doing around what he's doing, and then he can get his name in the conversation. And again, keep making those appearances. His stuff is so ridiculous. He incredibly mature dude too. I met him when he was young, interviewed him when he was young, and he still was really, had his stuff together. Love watching him successful, and absolutely a beast.
I love seeing the edge. Like you said, he's a good kid, and he speaks well. I think he's married to his high school sweetheart. He's just an all around good kid. I like this. He's running out to a corn song, and he's got some, some kind of some FU to him a little bit on some of these saves that he's getting. I'm loving that. I think some of that's coming from, I don't know if he was guaranteed the closer position. I think they were going to kind of platoon it, and he's just gone out and said, no, I'm the closer. But anyways, what I want to ask you about him is if you go back in time in some of these generations, and maybe in the 60s, and someone watched Bob Gibson, and you're just like, oh my gosh, is this what baseball is going to become? And you fast forward to Nolan Ryan, you're like, oh my gosh, is this eventually what every pitcher is going to look like? I was going to ask, is Mason Miller what the future of every pitcher is, or is he even above a normal anomaly? He's just a unicorn of sorts?
So the cool thing is, when he made his debut, I literally said, I've seen the future, and his name is Mason Miller, because his stuff, even in his first outing, his first appearance was mind blowing, throwing 102, which is nasty, nasty stuff. I think it's a little bit of both. Obviously, velo is important in the game. There wouldn't be guys standing behind the backstop with guns if it wasn't. It's not the be-all and end-all. Obviously, pitchability is important, stuff's important, command's important, makeup's important. He happens to have all of that. So he is what every pitcher, certainly every closer, aspires to be. But I think you're also seeing guys go back to what worked back in the day, where they're breaking out multiple pitches. And I talk about this in my book, Unhittable, is there's a drive for velocity, but you can only go so far, because redlining bodies means that people break. And now we're looking at different ways to solve the same problem. Velo works because hitters have a short time to make a decision. And if you have enough pitches and you can tunnel them, hitters also have a short time making a decision. So either one works, and maybe more pitches is healthier.
I would agree totally with you there. I want to listen. We could talk about Miller this whole time, because he's absolutely nasty. I would love to see him start and throw that fast for 9 innings, I think that'd be incredible. I know back in the day when I was in AAA with Aroldis Chapman, we tried that with him. Took about 3 hours to get 5 innings, and we said, all right, we'll put him in the bullpen. Ultimately, that's part of the game. Jose Soriano, absolute phenomenal pitcher. You know, a lot of people didn't see it coming. A lot of people did. .24 ERA right now through 6 starts. Talk about him and the way he throws. Could you see this guy eventually, you know, the Angels veering off and not doing well, not only being one of the best pitchers, maybe even close to a Cy Young, but maybe trade bait too as well?
Absolutely. So he reminds me, he's a little bit of a horse. He loves pitching innings. He loves staying in games. He made a little adjustment where he stands on the rubber. That's the biggest thing I can see is like what he changed this year, as well as where he's kind of locating his pitches. He's much better at locating his pitches this year and working in more four-seamers, which makes his sinker more effective, as well as all of his other pitches. Dude is fantastic to watch. I've been on him for the last couple of years, and I've been like on my YouTube show constantly saying, this guy is an ace, this guy is an ace. And now he's finally turned into it. I didn't expect a .24 ERA ace, but he's the real deal.
Man, I want to get into some velo. Talk about a stat that I saw that just means I don't belong in this game anymore. The average righty starter is throwing 95.4 miles an hour to start the season this year. I don't even know if I have a question. I just wanted to put that out there. Like, where does it stop? Is that going to keep trickling up as it has over the last 10, 15 years? Or, you know, there's just no more Joe Blow righty anymore. I mean, that's at 95.4 average starting right-handed pitcher velocity.
It is absolutely amazing. And part of it comes from, like, back in the day, we used to say, oh, we can't teach velo, so we're going to have to draft guys, and then other guys we're going to have to teach to pitch. Then we learned through these facilities that came up, you know, you can teach velo, and you can get some of these guys that hadn't been throwing all that hard to throw hard. So you will see it continue to tick up, but there's got to be a natural breaking point. Again, like, we put guns on people, they're going to try to compete for the highest number. It's just a competitive athlete type of thing. If we put numbers on spin rate, they're going to try to spin it the most. Everybody's going to want to be Nolan McLean. We don't have great numbers on command. If they had that, you might see that be valued more. Sometimes analytics is a self-fulfilling prophecy where we value what we can measure, and if we can't measure it, we don't value it. Like mental game. Mental game is very important, but we don't value it because we can't measure it. So I think you're going to keep seeing the velo go up until the human body breaks, and that's just natural competitiveness. And I don't know, is that good for the game or not?
I don't want to be a hitter. That's why I'm not playing anymore. No, but listen, the movements of the baseballs are incredible. And talk about movements. A guy like Nolan McLean, his sweeper frisbee thing, I don't even know what you call it. It's out of this world. I want to talk about his repertoire, his fastball. He faced Byron Buxton the other day. First at bat, he threw 5 or 6 two-seamers that ran up and in, and he half swung at 2 of them to strike out. Talk about the movement on him and how hard he is to hit right now. It just seems like it's every which way and angle that, you know, he talks to the baseball. I need up, down, inside out. And how does he do it?
So I talk about a lot of players and a lot of pitchers that I like. He is my favorite pitcher to watch because when you watch him throw, you may never see any ball ever move like that again. Both sides of the plate, he can go arm side and glove side, up and down. Smart pitcher, competitive, throws hard. But that's not really even he tops out like 99 and everybody's like, whatever. His stuff is eye-popping. It's like his pitches are teleporting one way or another. And I talked to him about his grips. They're not necessarily unique. He grips the ball hard. He's got it. Whatever it is, grip strength, the ability to spin a baseball. This dude was born with it. That's one of those things we can't teach all that much. We can teach a little bit. You want to get guys like Nolan McLean on your team. Just so much fun to watch and so nasty.
Support for today's episode comes from Square, and they've got big news. During Square's biannual releases event, they launched a wave of innovative new tools to help local businesses run faster, smarter, and more profitably. Square is awesome around Orlando, where AJ and I live. We go to the farmers markets around town. I go to the one near Lake Eola. It's awesome. I use Square to pay with my phone. I get the receipt right away. It's great.
And so many businesses, not just small businesses, use this. So many restaurants and businesses I walk into, not only in Orlando, but all over the country, have these, and you just use your credit card, pops out a receipt, emails it right to you. It's so fast. It's so efficient. It's so hassle-free. It's one of the great things that you have going.
Square launched its most powerful tools yet, designed to give local businesses a competitive edge without the complexity. If you're ready to sell smarter, run faster, and stress less right now, you can get up to $200 off Square hardware at square.com/go/foul. That's square.com/go/FOUL. Run your business smarter with Square. Get started today.
You know, they always kind of say hitting is catching up to pitching, you know, as far as like the pitchers start throwing fastballs up. So the hitters all start to train to hit the fastballs up. And then the Big 12-6 curveball is kind of out of the game. And now the splitter's making this comeback. What are you seeing? You know, you got guys that, you know, like McLean that we're just talking about throwing like this unicorn stuff. I don't know if there is like one thing that a hitter can say, I gotta focus on the heater up, or I got to start tracking this splitter, or sinker's making a comeback. You know, it feels to me like pitching is quite a bit ahead of hitting at this point. How do you see that playing out over the next couple of years as hitters try to adjust to where pitching is?
I think pitching will always lead the way because pitchers are basically on offense. You have the baseball, you're in control of it. You can put it where you want to, and you know how to attack a hitter. You have his heat maps and everything. So you're always going to be able to be in control. The hitter's a counterpuncher. That being said, I think new trends now, you're seeing multiple types of fastballs. Guys are like, you can't just have a good four-seamer. You got to be able to throw a two-seamer so they can't sit on one or the other. And then maybe a cutter like Cam Schlittler it, where you have three different types of fastballs and just throw them down the middle and hope they go where they want to go. You know, splitters are obviously huge. We have kick changes now that kind of act like splitters / circle changes. We're able to design so many different pitches. And again, this is one thing I go over in my book because I wanted to show everybody like where pitching was and where it is today and how much harder it is for hitters today. It is absolutely absurd. We can design pitches just to defeat certain hitters almost in a lab. Like pitchers are lab rats and we're just designing them to do what we want them to do.
It's absolutely incredible. And I, you know, the kids I teach today, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, you guys don't have the slightest clue. You think these kids, you know, they're trying to throw curveballs, circle change. I'm like, first off, your hands aren't big enough. Just throw a fastball and dot up and you'll be fine. I want to go to a new pitcher that just came in, J.R. Ritchie. Ultimately, you come up to the big leagues. You either get your first at bat or your first pitch of the year or ever. First pitch, home run. And then boom, your life comes to an end. It seems like I said it before, he looked stoic. He looked like he was under control. Talk a little bit about him and how, you know, his performance can help these Braves ultimately win the NL East. I mean, another good pitcher coming in.
Absolutely. And dude, as a hitter, that's uncool, right? You got to let him have the freebie first pitch, parent.
Ambush. No.
So mean. I thought that was awesome. And I thought what was even more awesome is how he reacted to that, because give up 2 solo shots, pitched great. I thought his changeup looked really good. His curveball looked great. And his poise looked great. Like to be tested in that first outing, you're just shoved in there and you do that. Like really impressive stuff by J.R. Ritchie. And yeah, like so to me, looking at the Braves before the season started, I was like, if they can survive until they get Strider and Schwellenbach and, you know, Waldrop and, you know, Smith-Shawver back, then they're going to be tough to beat. They're not only surviving, they're thriving with these guys. So, I mean, I'd worry if I were in the NL East competing against them.
Let's go to the AL East with the Yankees here. They're playing excellent baseball. Seems like the ebbs and flows are really either really good or really bad. They're going on a nice streak here, 6 games. They got 2 dogs that are waiting to come back pitching wise, Garrett Cole and oh my God, I'm drawing
Rodon. Yeah.
Carlos Rodon.
Yeah.
What is going to happen here when I think Carlos is going to be first. Well, actually, I don't know. We'll see how that hamstring is. Whoever it is, who's the odd man out here, or what's going to happen? Odd men.
Yeah. I have no idea. All I know is you're going to want those guys in your rotation, 2 old school dogs that you're going to want out there. And that is absolutely an advantage for them. They also have tons of arms that they haven't even scratched the surface of bringing up or contributing. So, I mean, they could be very dangerous. And the emergence of Schlittler, I think, makes this rotation so tough. Like he also has just ice water in his veins. And you add him learning alongside, again, Cole and Rodon, and watching the way they go about their business. It can only be good for all these guys.
How about same division, Rob? Garrett Crochet, off to a little bit of a tough start by his standards. What are you seeing from him?
Yeah, I heard you talking about Garrett Crochet, and I've had the same problem. Like, I thought he might be tipping pitches. I went and did overlays of his mechanics. I couldn't find anything about tipping pitches. It looked to me some of his locations were off, and he was getting, slaughtered in those situations. And then some, like, he threw some good pitches that got hit, and I don't know if that was luck. That's what made me think he might be tipping, is there were good pitches that usually are getting outs that were getting hits, or it's just luck. Like, you get beat by luck sometimes and people put things together and all of a sudden you have a bad outing. I'd still wait and see. His stuff looks good. I mean, it was down a tick velo-wise, but nothing like it didn't make me think he was anything other than Garrett Crochet. And we all know what he can do when he's on. I'm nervous because I'd like to see him have, put together a couple good starts now, but I think he's got it back in him.
Okay. The consensus question from the crowd to finish up here is they wanted to know anyone else. I guess it's kind of in the Crochet category that you've been watching so far this year, where you're either really concerned with the trends or someone they're looking for someone who, I mean, as the crowd put it, talk about someone who sucks. That's what they said. So I was like, okay. And there's two directions you can go. One is this person's not pitching well, and I'm worried about his indicators and what his performance looks like and his stuff. Or I'm watching someone and I'm like, it looks like they just had some batted ball luck or something that was off that can be corrected.
See, Crochet was the one who jumped out at me. Like, that's the one I would love to talk about. And I think he's fixable. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that's jumped out at me on that side. Don't know. Webby started.
Yeah, that's
slow.
A good one. Logan.
Yeah.
So let me ask you about him. I know he rebounded a little bit yesterday. I think it was 7 innings, 3 runs. Do you think with someone like that who is so great at locating that ABS might hurt him in the long run because you can't get away with a little bit of dancing outside of the zone and kind of messing with the umpire? I don't want to say messing with the umpire, but he knows who the ump is and what he can get. And you're not going to get that same advantage. It's not like he doesn't have other tricks up his sleeve, but that is one that he just did so well for so many years, kind of just tiptoeing the line, getting someone to either chase or to get that pitch out of the zone for a strike.
Yeah,
Call.
I think that's a great point. I think the same thing. So Chris Bassett's another guy that comes to mind who I thought would thrive with the ABS system because he throws some pitches that get some wicked break and can clip the top of the zone with some slow curves or something. It can be. Like, I think the umpires are definitely more disciplined now and not giving anything because they don't want to look like a fool in front of a stadium when something's challenged. And they're competitive too. They want to look good. So I think it can have something to do with it. I think we're going to need more of a sample set on that because I saw good stuff out of Webb. I thought his pitch movement looked good yesterday, especially great location on rushing. Too soon.
No, not at all. We have Drew Gilbert on later.
Clearly a mistake, right? He clearly didn't know anything about that.
No, he was completely unaware, right, Ross? He didn't even know what was going on that everyone else had seen on social media.
Yep,
innocent.
not a clue.
Nobody talked about that in the clubhouse ever because they wouldn't.
and he's not a veteran that could place the baseball wherever he wants and send a message, right?
Yes. So his location was pretty good on that one. So I think he can locate when he wants.